ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशव वामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरुः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So now we are in the fifth verse of Dakshinamurti stotram, and as I said in the previous session, the first four verses are the ones which are talking about the actual core teaching of Vedanta. After this, from the fifth verse onward, there are certain other topics very deeply related to the subject. So the first verse talked about the Atma, Swarupam of Atma, Tvam Padartha. Second verse talked about the Tat Padartha or Brahman. Third verse talked about the Mahavakya Vichara Tattvamasi. And the fourth verse talked about how this consciousness is the very light of consciousness behind all the functions of the Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira in all the jivas. So here the basic teaching of Vedanta has been covered. But now we saw in the fifth verse, I'll read the fifth verse again. Okay. देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः स्त्रीबालान्धजडोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्ताभृशं वादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहा व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. So as I introduced this verse in the last session, I do not know what Atma is. It is a very natural and inborn ignorance with which we are all born, which is called as Mula Avidya. We don't know what this Atma is, what its Swarupa is, what this Tvam Padartha is, what this Tat Padartha is, because Atma or this consciousness is not something that is an object of perception which can be objectified. Therefore, an Ajnani like me, not understanding the Atma and therefore mistaking it for something else is very, very natural. It is so with all of us, with all the Ajnanis. But what the scriptures say is that not even what the scriptures say, it is the truth that even the well formed philosophies, various philosophies other than Vedanta or Advaita Vedanta, most of the philosophies do not accept the Ekatvam or Sarvatmatvam of Atma. And they mistake the Atma to be something other than that Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. They mistake it to be any of the Anatmas. And what are the various locuses or what you call the loci or the locations of misunderstanding? And what is the reason for this misunderstanding? That is what is being talked about in the fifth verse. And so, what are the various things, various aspects of Anatma for which this Atma is mistaken? Deham. Atma is Deha. First of all, Aham Atma Asmi itself is not known. Therefore, Atma, if you say you are the Atma, okay, then what is this Atma? Aham Deha Asmi. Immediately our identification is with the Deha. So Deha is Atma. Next, another group says, I said there are Lokayatas or who are called as the Charvakas who say Deha is the Atma is the Deha. Then a little bit revised version of the same group says Pranam is actually Atma. So the anatomy of the body is not the Atma, but the functioning or the physiology of the body, which is Prana, is the Atma. Then another group, a similar one, says Indriyas are the Atma because all my Vyavahara is happening through the Indriyas. It is the Indriyas which interact with the world outside and all the Vyavaharas are formed. So Deham, Pranam, Indriyas. Then there are two types of Bauddhas. Bauddhas are a type of actually different kind of a philosophy. You can call them called as the Buddhist philosophy. The Bauddhas who were also there earlier than Buddha, also this particular thing was there, Bauddhas. Later it became absolutely crystallized. Now what they say is Chalam Buddhihi. So the Bauddhas say it is Chalam Buddhi. What is the meaning? Consciousness is not a constant anitya vastu which is there, but consciousness comes momentarily along with each thought and disappears. What they call as the Kshanika Vijnana Vada. That means the Buddhi is the Atma. And with every thought, a cognition takes place because the consciousness also erupts with each thought and then goes back with each thought. So, Chalam Buddhi. Another group of Buddhas say, Shunyam Viduhu. Shunyam. There is nothing. There is nothing called as Atma. There is nothing. Then who are you? Am I nothing? When I say there is nothing, then I am also nothing. Then I cease to exist. Correct? Can I say I am nothing? I don't exist? No. There is something here which says I exist. And if I see something not present somewhere, I say it is empty. There is nobody in the room. The room is empty. But there is a seer or a realizer or a perceiver or an experiencer of that emptiness also. Therefore, these Buddha philosophers, I will not name them and all that. There are different types of Buddhas like Yogachara, Madhyamika, Sautrantika, Vaibhashika. There are different, kind of flavors of the same Buddha mata are there. So we need not go into the details of all those matas. But then these are the 4 or 5 anatmas for which I, the Atma, is mistaken. Similarly, the Brahman, Atma is Brahman, mistaken for nothing but the Jagat. Jagat is Satyam. Just like body is Satyam, Prana is Satyam for these people. Atma is nowhere to be seen because it is not known. Because I don't know what Atma is, I mistake it for something else other than what it is. So, Deham, Pradam, Indriyani, Chalam Buddhi, Shunya. These are the 5 common mistakes that are made for identifying or recognizing or seeing what the Atma is. And what are the defects in the intellect or the Buddhi doshas, even in these so called philosophers and so called scholars, which can cause this particular ajnanam. What are they? So he gives 4 types of deficiencies or defects in the intellect which can have this mistake. So what does he say? Stri, Bala, Andha, Jadopamastvahamiti, Bhranta, Brisham, Vadinaha. All these people are Bhrantas. Bhranta means what? Those who have a mistaken notion of something. When they do not know the reality, they mistake it for something else. That is called as Bhranti. And when a person associated with a Bhranti is called as a Bhranta. And who are these? Bhranta Bhrisham Vadinaha. They are Bhrantas and vehemently hold on to their views, and they are not willing to see the truth of what Advaita is saying. Who are these four kinds of intellects? Number one, Stri. Now, Stri does not mean a woman. Stri does not mean a woman's buddhi. No, it does not mean that. Stri means it is an upalakshana. It stands for anybody who is very emotional and a person who has a lot of attachment to, a particular name and form of Ishvara. In the sense, my Ishtadevata with this particular name and form is the only Ishvara. There is nothing other than that. If they are told that Atma or Brahman is without any upadhi, without any name and form, they cannot accept it. People are so much attached to their name and form of a particular deity and worship that they cannot accept. They're emotionally very strongly attached to a particular name and form. They are purely Ekarupa Ishvara Bhaktas. Nothing wrong. This is necessary. In the very first step, everyone has to be an Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakta. But they are not willing to go beyond that and see that there is something else other than this also. They can't even understand Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana as revealed by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So, people who are highly emotional and attached very, very emotionally to a particular name and form which they consider as the only God or Brahman or Atma, such an intellect is called as Stri. Then we have another intellect which is Bala, undeveloped intellect, absolutely undeveloped. We cannot talk about Atma to a Bala, a 7-year-old, or very few exceptions like Nachiketa may be there. But otherwise, in generally, it is not possible to talk to a Bala or a person of a very young age because his intellect is not developed well enough to understand and absorb these ideas. Bala. Andha. Andha means what? An intellect which is not willing to accept or change in spite of being convinced. This Andha intellect, he is blind with his own ideas. Blind. He's not emotional like this tree. He is blind and he holds on to his own ideas, and nobody can change or alter his idea. Andha. A kind of a cussedness and a kind of a person who's adamant on seeing only his point of view and not willing to see what somebody else is saying. This is an andha, blind, absolutely blind. Jada. Jada means a retarded intellect. A person may be old enough but retarded. The mind is that of a child, retarded intellect. There's nothing you can talk to a retarded intellect, a mentally retarded intellect. So these are the doshas in the buddhi. These are the types of intellect which are absolutely mistaking this atma to be anything else other than atma. And most of these people, most of these, philosophers who say I am Atma, the Atma is this or this, wrong conceptions, mistaken notions, either belong to one of these categories, especially the Andha category, either Stri or Andha categories, where they are highly emotional, not willing to see beyond their name and form deity, their deity of a particular name and form, or Andha, that what I think is correct, nothing other than that. So it is these kind of intellects that really make a mistake. They may be scholars, they may be people having these kind of systems of philosophy, but they are not able to see the truth. Then he says, Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpitamaha Vyamoha Samharine. Okay. And all this Vyamoha or delusion is created by none other than Maya Shakti, the Avarana Shakti of Maya, which covers my intellect to the truth of myself. And because of this covering, the same Maya Shakti, because of its Vikshepa Shakti, projects something which is not true. That is what happens when we mistake a rope for snake in kind of a manda andhakara. In a twilight zone, we mistake one thing for the other. Why? Because there is an avarana to what the reality is. I can see something, but I can't see it clearly. There is an avarana, there is a blocking of what it is. At the same time, I am actually, my mind or my intellect is projecting something which is really not there. So, this is the effect of Maya Shakti, and Acharya says, I am lucky that I have seen the truth because of my Guru. My Guru has cleared or he has destroyed this delusion in me. Maya Shakti Vilasa. Vilasa means what? The very act of Maya Vilasa. In that particular Avarana and Vikshepa, the very play of Maya Vilasa, Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahamoha. This is the Mahamoha. If it I am totally ignorant, I have no idea of what scriptures talk about the Atma, then I can be excused because all of us are born with that Mula Avidya. So ultimately, what is this avidya? It is a vikshepa or it is a projection of the false when the real is missed. And this is the handiwork of Maya with its two Shaktis, which has caused this delusion in most of us. But I'm lucky, I'm fortunate that my Guru, Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharine, my Guru has actually is the one who has cleared this delusion in me. Mahavyamoha Samharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam. To that Guru who is none other than Dakshinamurti Guru, a manifestation or a representative of Dakshinamurti Adi Guru, who has destroyed this ignorance and blessed me with the understanding of the reality of myself. So Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyamoha Kalpita. That means Maya Shakti is whatever I am thinking of myself or the reality is Kalpita. It is projected, it is not real, and it is the handiwork of Maya. But fortunately, my Guru Murti, my Guru has cleared, has destroyed, has done the samhara of this ignorance that I have. Vyamoha samharine tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye. To that Guru Murti, who is none other than the very manifestation of Dakshinamurti, my namaskaras for destroying my Mula Avidya and allow me to see myself the way I am and get rid of all the mistaken notions. This the Guru has done how? Giving me this knowledge by not by any other means. Not by any other means. He has blessed me with this knowledge, which has released me from this Vyamoha. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. In the next verse, he tries to explain this Shunyavadi. As I told you, Shunyavadi is the person who says Atma is nothingness. There is nothing. It's a big zero. There's nothing called as Atma. Why does he say that? He takes the example of a deep sleeping person, a deep sleep state of a person. What happens in deep sleep? I do not know myself at all. I am so and so, so and so. I have no idea. I have no idea where I am sleeping. I have no idea what my body is. I have forgotten all my knowledge and ignorance. I have forgotten all my delusions and mistakes and emotions and everything. There is no idea of space and time. I'm completely ignorant and there is nothing there in the sleep. That is what the Buddhas think, the Shunyavadis. And they say, just like in deep sleep, when nothing is there, really speaking, there is nothing called as Atma. So, what does Vedanta say? It says that when you wake up from the sleep, then you yourself say, I was sleeping. I did not know anything. Even if a thief has come and stolen everything from me, I have not realized that because I was fast asleep. So, what do they say? I was blissfully sleeping. I did not know anything. Who says this when I wake up? That means when I was sleeping, there was some principle which was aware of nothingness. There was some principle which was aware of the absence of the body. I was not there, I say. The mind was not there, I say. My dukkha sukhas were not there, I say. That means what? There was something which was aware that the entire Jagrat Prapancha, Swapna Prapancha, the Jagrat Jiva, Swapna Jiva, the whole thing was in a seed form, nothing was there. What is this which says that? Who is this that is observing this that nothing was there? This observer, the one who is aware that there was nothing in sleep, that is that very consciousness which is all the time there, which is there in all the three avasthas. In the Jagrat avastha also, it is that same consciousness which is aware of all the transactions that are happening in the Jagrat avastha with the world outside. It is that same consciousness behind the Swapna Jiva which is aware of all the dream transactions that are happening. It is the very same consciousness which is aware that there was nothing and only ignorance in sleep. I say I did not know anything, I did not understand anything. Who is the observer of this nothingness or absence? It is that Atma. So the stages, the avasthas come and go. Jagrit avastha comes and goes, Swapna avastha comes and goes, Sushupti avastha comes and goes. But what remains without changing in and through all these avasthas, this particular consciousness is me, the Atma. And I, the Atma, remember clearly that I was the same waker who went to sleep. I am the same person who dreamt a particular dream. I don't know when I fell so fast asleep, and now I'm getting up, and I know I'm the same person who has got up from the same one who went to sleep has got up. So, this continuity of the consciousness, which is responsible for the awareness of all the three states of the mind, all the three states of the jiva. Therefore, here Shankaracharya gives an example and he says, don't say, hey Shunyavadi, that nothing was there in the sleep. Don't say. In sleep, all your karanas were in a seed form. All your sense organs and the mind was in the or body, everything was in a seed form. It was only the prana which was keeping the physical body alive. That's all. And therefore, he says, it is not as if there was no consciousness. The karanas, the sense organs, the mind which manifest this consciousness, which reflect this consciousness, were in a folded up condition. That is why we were not able to understand in sleep that we were conscious. We are not conscious in sleep, but later when we get up, we are conscious that I was asleep. Therefore, he says here in this next verse, let me read it. राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशः मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. I'll read it again because it's a little, kind of terse. राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दु सदृशः मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. Acharya Shankara here takes an example of an eclipse. So he says, Rahu Grasta Divakara Indu Sadrishaha. What happens in a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse? It is the shadow of one coming between the two, between the sun, the earth, and the moon. And what is the shadow? It is the shadow which is created by a shadow planet called as Rahu. In astrology, Rahu is called as a Chaya Graha or a shadow planet. What it does, it's nothing but the nodes of the moon. Those who know a little bit of astronomy will know that Rahu and Ketu are not physical bodies. They are not physical planets, but they are the nodes because of which those which can cast a shadow, they can cast a shadow upon the moon or upon the sun. Therefore, he says, Rahu Grasta Divakara Indu Sadrishaha. Just like the sun and the moon are eclipsed by Rahu, at which time we don't see a part of the sun or a part of the moon or the whole sun and the whole moon, whether it is a partial solar or lunar eclipse or a total lunar or solar eclipse. We don't see that because it is actually held in the grip of the shadow planet called Rahu. Rahu Grastha. It is gripped, it is in the grip of Rahu, who, that is Divakara, that is sun, or Indu, Su is moon. Rahu Grasta Divakara Indu Sadrisha. Just like that, in sleep, in deep sleep, what happens? Maya samachhadana. Because in deep sleep, what is there is only Karana Sharira. What is Karana Sharira? Avidya, Maya. So, because of the Karana Sharira predominant state called as what you call as the deep sleep state or Sushupti Avastha, because of the covering of the all the sense organs and the mind totally by ignorance, Maya, what happens is then this Atma is only available Sanmatraha Karana Upasamharanato Yo Bhoot Sushupta Puman. Unfortunately, this Maya cannot cover the Atma or consciousness. Why? Because Maya is a lower order of reality. Atma is the Paramarthika Satyam. Maya is the Vyavaharika Satyam. Therefore, Maya cannot cover the Sat Atma, the existence. I still exist. I am, but I am is not known by the intellect because of Maya Samachhadana. Maya Samachhananat Karana Upasamharanataha. All the Karanas. that is the sense organs, and the mind, especially the mind and the buddhi, are also completely folded up. That is why no learning is possible during sleep. No thinking is possible during sleep. The mind and the buddhi, the antakarana, is completely in a folded up state. Therefore, it is not possible. So, what he says is, what is present? Sanmatraha. That means what? Only this existence, consciousness, which is observing the nothingness and the folded intellect and the folded mind, only that is there. Sanmatraha yo bhuta sushupta puman. In the deep sleep state, sushuptaha puman. In a person who is in deep sleep, what happened? Sanmatraha asti. This Puman is Sanmatraha Chinmatraha. But no knowing process is happening because there is no, the manifester of this consciousness, the buddhi, the antakarana, the reflector of this consciousness, the buddhi and the manas, mind, are not there. Not there means what? They are there, but they are totally folded up. They are totally unfunctional. But then, what is the proof that I was a Sanmatra individual? I was there existing. What is the proof? He says, Pragasvapsamiti prabodha samaye. Prabodha samaye. At the time of waking up. Pragasvapsamiti. I was the one who slept and I dreamt for some time. Then I had such a dreamless sleep. Many times we say that. For the first time after so many months, I had a deep and a dreamless sleep. This is a Sushupti avastha. Prag asvapsamiti prabodha samaye yaha pratyabhijnayate. This understanding, recognition that I was the one who slept and I'm the same person who slept deeply and now I'm the same person who has woken up. This recognition is called as pratyabhijna. Pratyabhijna is an evidence for the presence of Atma even during deep sleep state. There is no question of shunya in deep sleep state or any other state. Therefore, pratyabhijna means what? Recognition. Cognize means what? I cognize something. I see you for the first time. And I say you are so and so, Mrs. So and so, Mr. So and so. The first time I cognize you as so and so, introduced by somebody or something. The next time I see you, I recognize you and remember you and recognize you. This is called as pratyabhijna. Therefore, pratyabhijna means what? I am the same person. I am the same who went to sleep, who dreamed, then who had a deep sleep, and now where I am up and about. So this recognition of the self, I am the same. I am. I was in the waker also. I was the same one who dreamt also. I am the same one who slept also because now I know I am the same one who slept, which I know now. This recognition of aham asmi myself is called as pratyabhijna. So yah pratyabhijnayate. This is a very, very strong proof. Pratyabhijna is a very strong proof that it is the same consciousness which is there in all the states of the mind. What are the three states of the mind? Jagrit avastha, swapna avastha, and sushupti avastha. Ya pratyabhijnayate tasvai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurti. That very consciousness I is the same consciousness which is manifesting in the form of my Guru Murti in front of me, who is the very same consciousness which manifested as Dakshinamurti and taught the Sanakadi Shishyas. Therefore, to that consciousness which is in all the avasthas of the body, mind, sense complex, to that Atma, who is in the form of Dakshinamurti, who is in the form of my own Guru Murti, my namaskaras. Because it is this Guru who has made me understand, look, that you have the pratyabhijna, the recognition of yourself, which is the proof that you exist. You are. I am. This is the proof that I am is, and I am an existent conscious being in and through all the avasthas. In the next verse, if I am the same consciousness in the all the three avasthas of the mind, the Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti, what about the different stages of the body? What about the different stages of the body? Is it a different consciousness when I am young, when I'm a child? Does it change when my body changes? Does the consciousness also change? When I become old, does the consciousness also become old? When this body dies, does the consciousness also die? Supposing there is a disease in this body mind, does the consciousness also become diseased? No. So just like the consciousness remained ekameva advitiya, shashvatam puranam. That is what is going to be said, that najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva na bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityah shashvatoyam purana. And Krishna also said what? Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. That is what is going to be told in the next verse. You may be a child, you may be a youth, you may be an adult, you may be a sinking person, you may be a dying person, but the consciousness remains the same. But the buddhi, the antakarana, which manifests this consciousness changes, but not the very consciousness or the Chaitanya Atma. So let us read the next verse. बालादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तः स्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. I'll read it once more for your convenience. बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तः स्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. So what is he saying here? He says, Balyadishu api, Jagradadishu tatha, Sarvasu avasthasu api. Balyadishu, Balya adishu. That is what? Balya, Bala, Kumara, Yuva, okay? Then, the adult, and then coming back to old age, Vardhakyam, or a brahmachari, a grahastha, a vanaprasthi, or a sannyasi. These are the various avasthas or various stages of vikaras that the body goes through. Correct? And Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti are the avasthas which the changes which are gone through by the Antakarana. So what he says is, Balyadishu api. Dehinosmin yatha deve kaumaram yavvanam jara. Krishna said, whether he is a Kumara or whether he is a youth or a old person, it is the same consciousness that is there. Because I remember I as that same I when I was a 5 year old. I was the same I am I when I was 20 year old. I'm the same I now when I'm 65 or 66 year old. When I'm, about to die also, I'm the same I who's dying. I means what? Actually, consciousness is not. It is the body which is going through all this. But I am, the existence am, and the consciousness I are the same. It does not change. The consciousness is remaining what? Shashvatah Puranaha. Ajaha Nityaha Shashvatah Puranaha. The body is born. All the changes take place in the body, mind, sense complex. But that consciousness, which was never born, which was already there even before the body was born, it was merely reflected in this body as the Chidabhasa. And when this body dies, again the consciousness does not die. The consciousness is continuously present. It's this intellect or it is this antakarana, which is the reflecting surface of the Atma, has left, and therefore there is no manifestation of this Atma. But the consciousness is continuously there. Therefore, balyadishu api, jagradadishu tatha, sarvasu avasthasu api. Whatever may be the avastha, whatever may be the situation in the body, mind, sense complex. This body may be sick, this body may be healthy, this body may be bedridden, this mind may be a demented mind, this mind may be a forgetful mind, whatever it may be. Whatever may be the avastha of the body, mind, sense complex, vyavritta व्यावृत्तासु अनुवर्तमान ahamityantah spurantam. All these conditions of the body, mind, and sense complex are mutually exclusive. What is the meaning of this? When I'm a Kumara, when I'm a young girl, I'm not a youth. When I become a youth, I'm no longer a young girl. When I become an adult, I'm no longer a young girl or a teenager. An adult, maybe 30-year-old or whatever it is. I'm not the other two. When I'm old, I'm not the other three. That means the situations or the conditions of the body, mind, sense complex are coming and going. They are mutually exclusive. I can't be together a young person and an old person. Okay, I may be young in the mind, that is different. But the situation of the body, if I'm a 7 year old, I'm a 7 year old. When I'm a 60 year old, I cannot be 7 year old. So all these avasthas or the situations of the body, mind, sense complex are mutually exclusive. What is the meaning of mutually exclusive? When one is there, the other is not there. Similarly, the Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti avasthas. When I am awake, I am not dreaming nor am I deeply asleep. When I am dreaming, I am not awake, I am not in Sushupti. When I am in deep sleep, I am not awake, I am not dreaming. Of course, you may ask me, what about daydreaming? Maybe when you are awake only, you may be daydreaming. That's a different thing. But what we are talking about is the three avasthas of Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti are mutually exclusive. I can't be in two avasthas at one time. That is what is called Vyavritta. Vyavrittasu avasthasu. The avasthas are Vyavrittas. The avasthas or the conditions of the body mind sense complex is vyavritta or mutually exclusive or different at different times. But anuvartamanam, that which is continuously present, anuvartamanam, in all the mutually exclusive states of the body, mind, sense complex. There is one thing which is anusyutam, anuvartamanam, which is constantly present, which is constantly present, anuvartamanam. And what is that? Aham ityantah spurantam, always experienced as aham asmi iti. There is not a single moment where we do not experience the Atma. Atma Anubhava is constantly there. Brahma Anubhava is constantly there. In deep sleep, I may not be aware of it, but I am aware of it when I wake up. So aham asmi, iti constantly pulsating, sphurantam, constantly experienced. What is it that is constantly experienced? Not the body, not the mind, not the sense complex, not the Balyavastha or Kaumaravastha or Jaravastha. No. That which is constantly experienced as it is in and through all these avasthas is the constantly experienced Atma, Ahamasmi, Ahamasmi, Ahamasmi. It is Spurantam. Spurantam means what? Constantly shining, constantly being experienced. That is why Vedanta says nobody lacks Atma Anubhava. We all experience ourselves every moment. What we lack is the knowledge of what I dot that I is. That's all. I am. I am. Whenever I say anything, what do I say? I am superimposing the conditions of the body, mind, or sense complex constantly on the I am. I am is constantly experienced. But I am young, I am old, I am sick, okay? I am healthy, I am unhealthy, I am lame, I am blind, I am deaf, I am angry, I am jealous, I am envious, I am sorrowful, I am sleepy, I am hungry, I am thirsty. I know, I am a PhD. I am a doctor. I am born on such and such a day. I am born to such and such parents. So I am is constantly there. What is added is which doesn't belong to it. I am is the truth. That is the only thing. But what I add later is all the attributes of the body, mind, and sense complex. Therefore, who is this Atma? What is this Atma? Constantly spurantam. Aham ityantah spurantam. That which is constantly there pulsating in me. Aham iti. Aham asmi iti. I exist, I exist, I exist. It is spurantam when? Sada. All the time. There is not a moment where I don't have the experience I am. Even when I'm speaking now to you, there is that I am speaking is all the time there. When you are listening, I am listening, I am listening is all the time there. If I'm here, somebody asks me, are you there? Yes, I am there. What is the proof that you are there? Somebody calls me and says, are you there? Yes, I am there. What is the proof that you are there? I am there. I am the proof myself. When I say I am, that is the proof. Nobody need prove my existence or my Chaitanyam. I am aware of it all the time. So he says, Aham ityantah spurantam sada. Whatever may be the vyavritta or constantly changing situations, mutually exclusive conditions, avasthas of the body, mind, sense complex. But I am iti, that experience, the Atma Anubhava is there in and through every avastha, sarvasu avasthasu api, sarvasu avasthasu api, in all avasthas, what is that which is constantly experienced? I am. I am watching a movie. Next time I'm watching some other movie. The movie changes. I am watching is constant. It is the same I which watched this movie today. It is the same I which is watching that tomorrow's movie also. So I am is constantly spurantam aham it is spurantam sada. So then what is that spurantam aham? That is that Atma. Svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam. Bhajatam means those who have surrendered to the Guru, to this Guru. This Guru, Svatmanam prakati karoti. He literally communicates that who you are. Who are you? That constantly spurantam aham ityanta spurantam spuranam tvamasi. This is the prakati karanam of the Guru. That is what the Guru says. When you say, I am tall, I am thin, I am sick, hey Shishya, understand your real nature is just I am. That experience I am is the real you. And whatever you say later, it's just an added attribute. So the person who made me aware of my reality, the person who brought my Atma Anubhava and told me that this Anubhava which you are having, Aham Asmi iti, that is you, nothing else. The Guru cannot give me the Anubhava. I am experiencing Aham Asmi. It is this Puranam is experienced by me all the time. What the Guru says is that which you are experiencing as Aham Asmi, that is that consciousness, that is the Atma you are. That is what you are. And that is the same consciousness which is none other than the Adhishtanam of everything, Brahman. So Svatmanam Prakati Karoti Bhajatam. Though I say, all of us say, Ahamasmi, correct? I am, every one of us has experience. But still, in spite of that experience, that experience consciousness, that knowing consciousness, that existence and consciousness, I am, iti I don't know. That is what has to be told by the Guru. See, what you are constantly experiencing is the real you. What you are adding later is not you. You are projecting something else upon yourself. We saw these things even in Viveka Chudamani. Svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam. Bhajatam means what? The ones who have come to you, surrendered to you for this knowledge, you point out to them. The Guru cannot make me experience myself. That Spuranam is constantly happening. He can only tell me, look, what when you experience Ahamasmi, that is the real thing. That is what you are. The Prakati Karoti, who brings it out, points it out to me that you are not lacking Brahma Anubhava. You are not lacking Atma Anubhava. What you are lacking is what that Anubhava is. That is my reality, that knowledge you are lacking. And that is what he points out. And he says, Svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam. How does he point out? Yo mudraya bhadraya. With this sacred mudra, jnana mudra or chin mudra, that which you are experiencing constantly, every moment, continuously, nityam ahamasmiti, that is Brahman. That is, you are that Atma, and that is Brahman, which is the Adhishtanam, which is the support of this entire universe. Iti, yo mudraya bhadraya, bhadraya mudraya, with this auspicious, bhadra means auspicious, bhadraya mudraya, by this auspicious symbol of Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra, he reveals this truth. He reveals this truth. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye. To this Guru Murti, who has made me to see myself in the way I really am, understand that constantly experienced myself as my reality and not something else. The one who has opened my eyes to my own Swarupam and made me aware that that one which is constantly present as a light of consciousness, irrespective of all the changing situations, changing avasthas of the body, vyavritta, changing anubhav, various changing experiences, various changing, avasthas, whatever I am experiencing in that experience, I am is there. Now I'm experiencing you. Then I'm experiencing something else. I'm experiencing happiness now. After some time, you say, I'm experiencing confusion. I'm experiencing dukkha. In all my experiences, in all my perceptions, in all my understandings, in all my avasthas, what is constantly there is ahamasmi iti antas puranam, constantly pulsating understanding ahamasmiti. And this prakatikaranam, this fact which has been brought to me by whom? By my Guru. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye. Nama idam, my namaskaras, who is none other than Bhagwan Dakshinamurti. So I think we have done 3 verses today, quite heavy verses, but I think we'll stop with this, and we have only 3 more verses to go, which we'll take up in the next session, the last session. And actually, this Dakshinamurti stotram, is called as an ashtakam. So with the 8th verse, actually the Dakshinamurti stotra gets over, which we are going to see in the next session. But then the last 2 verses, 9th and the 10th verses, were supposed to be added later. So this 8th, 9th and 10th verse, which completes the Dakshinamurti stotram, we'll see in the next session. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधकाः सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्